I was reflecting on the people, the congregation to whom Ezekiel was sent and Jesus was sent. And what was the message that they were delivering? As we heard, Ezekiel was sent to the house of Israel in exile in Babylon, suffering their exile from their homeland. And in his commission to go there and preach, God says, this is a rebellious people, hard of face, and obstinate of heart. But I want you to go. I want you to go there and preach to them, but I'm telling you now, they're probably not going to listen. Now, wouldn't you want that assignment? No. Jeez. And so it was. He preached his heart out, but no reception of the good news that he was preaching. That God is going to open a way for you if you will just cooperate with God. But they had sunk so low in their bad estimation of themselves and their plight in life, and just couldn't believe that God was going to redeem them. We probably all know some people who are hard of face. People who, if they tried to smile, it would probably crack their face. Hard of face. It's like there's nothing good going on. They can't seem to have any joy or light in their eyes. And obstinate of heart just can't listen to anything. Can't listen to something different from what I already believe and know. That's the kind of people Ezekiel was trying to preach to. It's a very different group of people that Jesus addresses in his hometown of Nazareth, in the synagogue. But he got almost as much of a hearing as Ezekiel did. They immediately were enthused about what was happening to their hometown boy. But just as immediately, it's like, wait a minute, he is our hometown boy. And some of us grew up with him. And he wasn't anything like this. We worked side by side with him in building. Where did he get all this? We know he's just a builder. We know Mary is his mother. And we know his family. This doesn't add up. And so they too closed their hearts to a message that Jesus was willing to give them of a kingdom of God, of a God who loves something different from the Torah. And that's what they didn't want to hear. They were stuck in their law, stuck in their understanding of God, and unable to have Jesus break it open for them. That's a scary thing, to have your frame of reference broken open, and yet Jesus was offering them new life with God as Jesus knew God. So I was thinking about, all right, who is the congregation that I'm preaching to? And what am I to preach? I know I'm preaching to a congregation that feels some sense of what the people of Israel felt, some sense of exile, some sense of being isolated in a broader church of Cincinnati, where you've been places that just no longer fulfilling you, no longer giving you the message of this loving God. Now think about what Jesus did when he got rejected. He went to other villages. He went to other places to preach. If Nazareth was not going to receive him, I'll go somewhere else. And that's what so many of you have done. When the place where you were just isn't meeting my needs, you filtered in here. And I believe part of it is the message that is connected to Francis And when I say Francis, I mean St. Francis, and I mean Pope Francis. Both of these Francises are revealing to us a Spirit of God that is a different perspective than maybe is being delivered in other Catholic churches this morning. It's just different. Whether this one's better is for us to decide, but different. And I think three things that are so basic to Franciscan and St. Francis, and Pope Francis. One is their deep respect for the Eucharist. We are coming to the conclusion of a Eucharistic revival. Yes, Francis was totally committed to the body and the blood of Christ on the altar and received physically. He believed that with all his heart. And Francis, the Pope, certainly believes the same. Francis the Saint and Francis the Pope also, though, recognize so clearly the presence of Christ in those who are poor. Francis the Pope wants a church that is poor for the poor. Francis of Assisi left all the comforts of Assisi, his hometown, where he too experienced a sort of rejection, and went into the byways where the poor were living, especially those people with leprosy. That's where he cast his lot. And that's where I think many of us are feeling more comfortable seeing the face of Christ in other people, especially those who are pushed to the margins. Admittedly, that's not easy to see. Jesus is really well disguised in those who are on the outskirts. But we, in our Franciscan worldview, believe we are not going to know Christ if we can't know Christ in the lives, hearts, looking into the eyes of others. And thirdly, a perspective that Franciscans, Saint and Pope, is this beautiful earth of ours, this creation that God has given us. That creation itself reveals something of God to us. And therefore we have a responsibility, especially as Pope Francis speaks of it in Laudato Si, Laudate Deum. We've got to take care of this planet. It's the only one we got, folks. We can't just destroy it. We can't let it just keep deteriorating. That's a message of St. Francis. It's a message of Pope Francis. I think those three aspects of the Franciscan perspective and worldview, I think that's part of what attracts you to this parish. That yes, we celebrate and love our being a Eucharistic community. But we also know we need to be that Eucharistic community when we leave the church and enter into the world and interact with our sisters and brothers. And we need to go forth taking steps to make sure that we're seeing the presence of God in all that God has created and not allowing it to be devastated, not allowing it to go unnoticed. So as we gather here today, we gather in faith, and we gather to once again renew our commitment and our love for God, revealed to us in Jesus, and continuing to be revealed in the Spirit breathing in the world. May we too grow in our appreciation of this sacrament, his body and blood, the sacramental presence of Christ in one another, and present in the sacrament of the world, of nature. We continue to deepen our appreciation for all of that, and not turn a deaf ear to what is being presented to us. So as we gather again today, may we continue to grow in our appreciation of of all the Francis and Francis are trying to teach us, model for us. It resonates, it obviously resonates with you, or this is not where you would be. May that message be something that we carry forth beyond the doors of the church and into the worlds in which we live.